I learned a new technique called tweening, and you're going to want to stop frame by frame animating because it's very involved and you're going to love tweening. So let me quick show you what it is and then why you use the different ones, why you use the two different techniques. So in this case, instead of adding a new frame right away, I'm not going to insert a keyframe. I'm going to right click on this, and there's a bunch of options at the top. And we're going to start off, we're going to use a bunch of these options, but right now we're going to create a classic tween. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Do I want to tween it? It's giving me a message. Honestly, I'm going to hit don't show me this message again and hit OK. But it converted it to whatever it needed to convert it to. And it gave me about 1 second. But I need 3 seconds. So I'm going to come out here and insert a keyframe. In order for tweening to work, you always need 2 keyframes for this to make work. So now I have another keyframe. Another symbol, it's purple. And there's this little skinny arrow in between to let me know that I'm tweening. I didn't see that before. This wasn't there when I did frame by frame, but now I know I'm doing something called tweening. And if I play it right now, nothing happens. But by frame 30, I want it to be over here at this side, and I don't want to have to move it in chunks like I did with frame by frame. So if I play it now, it moves over 30 frames from one side of the screen to the next. So here's what tweening is. I set the beginning, that's frame 1, and frame 30, it's at the end, and it fills in everything between. And that's why it's called tweening. Now, if I don't like where it was at the beginning, I click on the first frame here where this keyframe is. Maybe I want it to start down here. In frame 30, I want it to, so it's going to be moving diagonally from one screen to the other. So I can always move where it is on these keyframes. I don't like where it is on frame 30. I can maybe move it up here. So frame 1, it's at the bottom. Frame 30, it's at the top. And they play in order from 1 to 30. So it moves from the bottom to the top. Let me do that again. So I'm going to start a new file. Let's go over tweening one more time. Just going to have some kind of object on the screen. And I need to right click first on this keyframe, not a separate blank frame, right on the keyframe. Classic tween, create a classic tween. I need to add another keyframe. And then I'm going to take my selection tool to move my object. So it does what I want, but I want you to know too that if I add another keyframe, I have a third keyframe. So there's another 1, 2, 3 keyframes. So now on frame 1, frame 30, and frame 45, it's telling me where I want everything to be. So I'm going to pause it here. If I'm frame 1, that's the starting point. Frame 30, I'm going to move it. And frame 45, these are all the places I want it to be. You're also noticing that the more frames I use, the slower it goes. The less frames I use, the faster it moves. So there's some tweening that we're learning here in this lesson.